Welcome to Retirement Ramblings. I'm Scott. On today's video, we're going to talk about my 90-day journey on the carnivore diet and the trend lines that will show you what happened at 30 days, 60 days, up through the 90-day completion that I just finished yesterday. If that sounds interesting to you, please stick around. So let's jump in. So yesterday was the end of my first 90 days on the carnivore diet. And at the end, I ended up weighing in at 192.2 pounds. That's down from a starting weight of 212. And so I've lost 20.2 pounds, which is 9.5% of my body weight over the 90-day period. Moving on to blood sugar, my 7-day blood sugar went down to 113. My 14-day was 111. My 30-day was 110. And my 90-day was 114. And then I took my A1C today, and it was 5.6. And if you've been following along, you know that my goal is 5.5, and I go for my actual official blood draw this Wednesday. And hopefully it'll drop from 5.6 to 5.5 between now and then, so that I can actually hit the target that I was shooting for. It started at 8.5, which is a substantial reduction. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing if my blood sugar test for A1C at home is reflective of what the lab, whether it's LabCorp or Quest, comes back with as the official A1C number. And I'll show you a graph of the trend line here in just a second. My ketones today were 0.9, and I also started measuring the GKI number. So I use Keto Mojo as my meter for checking ketones, blood ketones. And so if you check both your glucose and your ketones, it does a more granular calculation to see whether you really are in ketosis. And I am in, this week anyway, in light nutritional ketosis. And then talking through just some of the kind of the issues that I've had over carnivore. So my skin issues continue, although, as I indicated last week, I decided to take a 7-day treatment of 100 milligrams of doxycycline twice a day for 7 days. So I just completed that treatment program yesterday, and most of the redness in my face lightened up. The bumps that I had broken out with rosacea here and here receded considerably, and the itchiness that was associated with what I'm calling the keto rash or carnivore rash, I'm not sure if that's really what it is. When I go to the dermatologist, I'll find out. But the itchiness associated with that condition improved dramatically as well from the doxy. So because doxy is able to actually make an impact on it, it means it has to be some kind of bacterial infection bacterial infection that's causing the flare-ups. What's generating that, bad bacteria, if you will, I have no idea at this point. But hopefully I'll be able to figure it out and move forward and not have the same problems that I've been having. Other things that have made a difference is the quality of my sleep and the sleep duration. The quality of my sleep has actually declined over the last 3 months. I started at 79.2 as a sleep score based on my Fitbit that I wear when I sleep, and it's dropped to 75.4. And then the actual amount of time that I sleep has gone down from 8 hours to closer to 5.5 hours. And I wake up with plenty of energy, so you might view that as a positive, that the amount of sleep required is less, but for me, it's a negative. I really wanted to get those 8 hours, so getting 5.5 and then waking up and not being able to get back to sleep is not as much of a plus for me, but I do have plenty of energy to go through the entire day, without a problem. So the other improvements that I have seen was an improvement in my resting heart rate. Again, I'll highlight that. My blood pressure has stayed pretty consistent at 135/73. So there hasn't really been any significant changes up or down over the 90 days on that. As I indicated in an earlier video, my vision got substantially better starting at the second week of carnivore. My right eye improved from a -325 to a -275 diopters, and my astigmatism dropped from 173 to 166 in that eye. And then my left eye improved from a -3.5 to a -3.25 diopters, and my astigmatism reduced from 178 to 170. That was confirmed with an ophthalmologist on the 6th week of carnivore, and then I subsequently got a new set of glasses, which is what I'm currently wearing. The other significant benefit, which anyone who's a type 2 diabetic knows, is you end up having fairly frequent urination. So I used to have to go to the bathroom like every hour and a half, something along those lines. And now it's more like every 4 hours. So even if I wake up in the middle of the night, it's like one time I wake up in the middle of the night and then that's it. Previously, I would be waking up, 3 or 4 times every night, to go to the bathroom. Otherwise, all the rest of the things have been, pretty solid. I know a lot of you were interested in the measurements, and so I'm going to throw something up on the screen here in just a sec. But basically, I'm going to step you through where I started at the 30-day point, which is when I started taking measurements, at the 60-day point, and then at 90 days where I am at today. And net, the nominal change is I've lost just shy of 14 inches or 4% of my body fat over the really 60 days that I've been doing the measurements. So I'll leave it up on the screen, but you'll see that the big changes were in my jowl, so the area right here that goes, under your ears, across your lips. It's in your shoulders, the chest area, across the nipples, my waist at the belly button, my belly at its widest point, which is higher than where my belly button is, kind of where your beer belly kind of thing would be. And then I also lost a sizable amount in my hips, thighs, and then I even lost some in my feet. So the thickness of my foot, or the cushioning from the fat of my foot, went down slightly. So you'll see that in the grid that I'm going to put up here, so that you can see the exact breakdown. I'll just leave it up for just a second, so you can skim the numbers in both the 30, 60, and 90-day columns. One thing I do want to talk about that I get asked a question about all the time, which is, isn't carnivore a lot more expensive? And in reality, I've been tracking this. So it used to be, for all of 2023, my eating in food bill used to average $792 a month. And our eating out food bill, including gratuities, used to be $361 a month. So I would spend $1,153 a month for food. Since starting carnivore, my eating in bill went up $60 a month to $852, but my eating out food bill basically declined to $39, so I saved $322 a month, because we're not eating out near as much, because I'm trying to control what I'm doing. That said, the other things that are offsetting in my eating in food bill, and again, in my house, we have, it's a split household, so I'm doing carnivore, my wife's still doing the standard American diet, so she's still eating, chips and ice cream and cookies and, all the normal things that you can't have on carnivore, and so I'm not. So that expenditure on those type of foods has gone down substantially, because I used to eat a ton of popcorn and chips and ice cream, etc. So those numbers have come down substantially. Yes, I am spending a little bit more on, on steaks, but the most of what I eat, really, which is out of preference more than anything else, is I eat ribeyes, I eat New York strip, and I eat either 80-20 hamburger or 85-15 hamburger that's grass-fed, and I toggle between those. And most of the meats I end up buying at Costco, where let's say a ribeye right now was costing like $13.40. So I haven't bought it there recently. There was a sale at Kroger, so I had stocked up on those at Kroger when they were, or actually at Publix when they were $10.99 a pound. I've been paying $9.99 a pound for the New York strip, and then occasionally I'll also get either skirt steak or flat meat, which is either $9.99 or $10.99 a pound. And then on the 80/20 ground beef, which I historically get at Kroger, that's usually $3.99 a pound for their Angus 80/20 ground beef. Or my actual preference for taste is the grass-fed ground beef that I can get from the butchers at Sprouts, which on sale for them is $6.99 a pound. So I do that infrequently, but I still do it. And then I eat a fair amount of pasture-raised eggs. And again, I'll either use the Sprouts brand or some other brand. I try to keep my eggs at $5 or $4.99 a dozen or less. I know that, in fact, I went and checked today at Sam's Club. They have pasture-raised eggs, 18 of them. That is $4.98 for 18. So I don't have a membership at Sam's, but my sister-in-law does, so she took me there so I could check out the store today. And I'll have to decide whether I think it's worthwhile for the savings for the eggs and a few other items that I get to justify the $50 membership fee for the year. But I am consistently eating kind of that same round of those particular beef elements. And then on top of that, I'll have chicken, I'll have wild Alaskan salmon, I'll have snow crab, I'll also have pork, and I'll get like pork belly from Costco, cut that up, air fry that becomes a snack. I've also taken some of the New York strip and got the super thin cut New York strip and made that into beef jerky, which also becomes a snack if I need that. I make hard-boiled eggs as part of my meal prep so that I can, if I get hungry and it's not time yet for a full meal, I'll just pop a, hard-boiled egg, something like that. And then I use either Costco's 95% grass-fed butter or Kerrygold for making both butter bites, for putting on my steak when it's finishing, along with Redmond's real salt, to try and add some additional fats, and using Ketogenic Woman's butter bite brown butter recipe. I make some molds of that, so I have one tablespoon, butter bites that I make, usually about 16 of those at a time. And if I don't think I'm getting enough fat for the day, I'll pop a butter bite or two. And also, if you want something that's savory but kind of acts as a dessert, those browned butter bites, kind of solve that for me as well. So that's kind of, how I address that. So my plan moving forward is to continue doing what I'm doing. I plan to get the blood draw this Wednesday. Then within the next 7 days following the blood draw, I'll get the results back. I'll do another video just on the lab results so that you guys can see the before and afters, and as well as me, because I want to make sure that there isn't any deficiencies that have happened over Carnivore. I know people are concerned about that. I was concerned about that, but I feel pretty good. And as I've indicated for the last 13 weeks, other than the skin issues that I've had, which started around the second or third week, and have been continuing, and I just can't seem to get rid of them without taking doxycycline. Other than that, everything else has been good. My energy levels are good. My eyesight improved. I've lost weight. My A1Cs are kicking butt. I'm really thrilled that it went from 8.5 down to right now 5.6 on my internal measurements. Really, I can't ask for a better outcome in such a short period of time. So for me, I'm super happy with the way everything is going, and I'm just hoping that it continues. I've got a special occasion coming up in May, so love to have the kind of the weight the weight loss accelerate a little bit. So to that end, I've intentionally not done any type of exercises or kind of weight training or what have you during this first 90-day period. So my plan is to start adding in intermittent fasting, uh, um, to probably add in a couple of maybe a 45-minute to an hour walk every single day, or a minimum of 5 days a week, and then to do some lightweight kind of training, just to make sure that my muscle mass doesn't decrease, over time. And ultimately, I'm doing this to, you know, improve my health, obviously, but also uh, because obviously the name of this channel is Retirement Ramblings. I'm looking to retire, and I want to retire sooner rather than later. And ultimately, I want my health to be solid. I want to minimize the amount of drugs that and expense associated with those drugs as I move forward. I'm not yet Medicare age, so I'm going to have a bridge plan like, Obamacare or something till I get to age 65. And so again, in doing that, I'm looking to have a plan that is cost effective, and minimizes the amount of drugs that I need to take as I move forward. And also want to have the energy to go do some travel that I've been putting off, some bucket list travel. So, ultimately, I'd love to be able to retire at the end of this year if everything works out okay. And, then spend the next several years, um, doing some extensive travel both inside the United States and Canada as well as internationally. So all of these things kind of play together, but obviously, without your health, you don't have anything. And so I really wanted to, before getting into retirement, focus on my health and getting it to be, as as good as reasonably possible within the time duration before I retire. And then once I do start to retire, I'll probably put even more focus on it, moving forward, to make sure that, you know, I don't come up with some unexpected health condition that precludes me from doing what I've been saving for years and years, to take and enjoy in my retirement. So anyway, that's it for this week. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below. Happy to answer whatever I can. And, I appreciate you following along. You know, I didn't expect to have anybody really watching these videos, but I'm sure happy for the number of people that have kind of joined the community here and started following me. So I really appreciate that. And, again, if there's anything you want to know, please ask. Happy to help. And until next week, thanks. Appreciate you stopping by. Take care.